There's a brutal truth no one wants to talk about. Hustle alone won't save you. You can grind 100-hour weeks, burn through your savings, and pour every ounce of passion into your business and still end up broke. In fact, most entrepreneurs do. Why? Because the real enemy isn't competition, bad luck, or a slow market. It's the invisible psychological traps eating away at your success silently, methodically, and predictably. Let me tell you about a guy named Tom, a classic hustle harder believer. He left his corporate job in Los Angeles to open a late-night taco spot. He thought he cracked the code. No one else was serving gourmet street food past midnight. So he poured $200,000 into the build-out, did every shift himself, chef, cashier, cleaner, and stayed up until 3 a.m. replying to Yelp reviews. 6 months later, closed, bankrupt, burned out. Why? Tom didn't fail because he lacked grit. He failed because he walked headfirst into all 7 traps I'm about to show you. These aren't just mistakes. One tiny flawed assumption leads to another until your business collapses under its own weight. In this video, I'm breaking down these 7 psychological landmines in order of increasing damage, from the innocent mindset errors holding you back now, like waiting for perfect before you start, to the catastrophic blunders that kill businesses overnight, like refusing to invest when it matters most. Why? Because fixing the small stuff first builds the foundation you need to survive the big ones. Because here's our mantra: profit isn't found, it's engineered. So let's get real. Are you ready to stop spinning your wheels and start building a business that actually works? Grab a pen. The first trap, it's the one killing your potential right now. The myth that doing more equals winning. Let's tear it down. Let's talk about Emily. She's a baker in Austin, Texas. People have begged her to ship nationwide. You've got a killer brand, her friends say. Start an online store. But Emily keeps stalling. I'll launch when my packaging's flawless. Emily's stuck in the perfection trap, a silent killer of momentum. She's not lazy. She's not afraid of hard work. She's just waiting for the mythical right time that'll never come. Here's the truth. Perfection is a lie. It's a mental block that keeps you playing small while the market rewards action. You think you're being responsible by delaying your launch until your systems are bulletproof. But what you're really doing is prioritizing hypothetical future problems over present-day opportunities. I see this all the time in e-commerce. Founders spend 6 months designing a flawless inventory management system, while competitors like Emily launch with spreadsheets and grow 30% month over month. Or coaches who won't sell their course until it's 100% comprehensive, while others sell a rough draft, collect feedback, and iterate publicly. The worst part? Perfectionism masquerades as virtue. I'm just being detail-oriented. No, you're hiding. Fear of criticism, fear of failure, fear of looking unpolished on LinkedIn. They're all wearing the same disguise. But here's the secret. Systems aren't born perfect. They're built through iteration. Your first process document will be a chaotic Google document. Your first hire will mess up invoices. Your first TikTok ad campaign will have a CTR that makes you cringe. That's the plan. Take Jared, a client of mine. He spent 2 years designing a supplement line for CrossFit enthusiasts, a $50 per month fulfillment partner, and a viral Instagram reel showing his first batch of protein powder clumping like chalk. Jared lost $180,000 waiting. The other guy, $700,000 in year 1. At Profit Architects, we call this the minimum viable system principle. Start with what works now, not what might work someday. Write your first SOP in a notes app. Hire a VA who's good enough, not perfect. Launch a product with a 3-day shipping window, even if it's not ideal. Because here's the reality. Done beats perfect every single time. That's how you build momentum. That's how you escape the trap. Let me tell you about Marcus. He's the guy who made Grind Set his religion. A 28-year-old e-commerce founder in Dallas, Texas. Selemprenum hoodies to genzet. First 6 months, he killed it. $200K in sales by orders were backed up for weeks. Returns piled up unprocessed. His one-man army had collapsed under its own weight. When I asked him what broke first, he said, a I thought if I worked harder than everyone else, I'd win. I didn't realize I was racing toward a cliff. Marcus fell for the number one lie in entrepreneurship. More hours equals more money. It's a trap that preys on ambition. You think you're earning your stripes by grinding nonstop. But here's the cold truth. Busyness is a virus. It spreads quietly, convincing you that sweat equals success until you're burned out, broke, and wondering why your 80-hour weeks never turn into profit. I see this in 90% of new founders. But they're not building a business, they're building a treadmill. And the worst part, the numbers back them up. According to Gallup, 76% of entrepreneurs experience chronic burnout. She did everything herself: sourcing, packaging design, ads, fulfillment, even coding her Shopify site. Her sales hit $150K/month, but her profit? Minus $20,000. She was so obsessed with owning every detail that she ignored the math. Her cost per acquisition tripled. Her return rate hit 35%. Her VA quit after Jasmine refused to delegate inventory management. By year 2, Jasmine lost $300,000 and shuttered her brand. Why does this happen? Because effort feels heroic. When you're knee-deep in spreadsheets at 3 a.m., you think you're paying your dues. But what you're really doing is trading time for money, the exact cycle that keeps employees poor. Real wealth isn't built by working more hours. It's built by outsourcing hours to systems. At Profit Architects, we call this the leverage rule. Your goal isn't to work smarter than others. It's to work less while your systems work harder. That means writing SOPs before you need them, hiring a VA when you're still drowning, building a TikTok content calendar before you hit 10K followers. It's counterintuitive. It feels lazy, but that's the point. Marcus learned this the hard way. After his breakdown, he rebuilt his business with one rule: never do anything twice. He documented his live stream script templates, hired a part-time fulfillment team, set up autoresponders for customer service. Today, his revenue's doubled, and he works 20-hour weeks. Here's the takeaway. You're not paid for your time. You're paid for your leverage. Profit isn't found, it's engineered. And engineering requires stepping back before you burn down the factory. So ask yourself, are you building a business or just a job with better hours? His brand blew up fast, $500K in year 1, because Jake did everything himself. Designed the drops, sewed the prototypes, shot the lookbooks, ran ads, handled customer service, even packed boxes at 2 a.m. His mantra? If you want it done right, do it yourself. By year 3, Jake's revenue flatlined. His team? Still just him. Partnerships? Ghosted. Collaborations? Dead in the water. Why? Because when Nike reps reached out to discuss a potential capsule collection, Jake couldn't deliver. No inventory, no team, no systems, just a guy drowning in spreadsheets and sleep deprivation. Today, his brand's Instagram is a ghost town. Meanwhile, his competitor, a lesser-known designer named Lena, hit $3 million last year by hiring a production manager in month 6 and outsourcing fulfillment to a third-party warehouse. Here's the hard truth. Doing everything yourself isn't a badge of honor. It's a bottleneck. You think you're being thorough by micromanaging, but what you're really doing is building a ceiling over your own head. And the worst part? It feels noble. You tell yourself, I'm saving money. I'm staying authentic. Nope. You're just scared to trust anyone else with the thing you care about most. I see this in founders across industries. A coffee roaster in Portland refuses to hire a barista because no one makes lattes like me. A SaaS CEO codes every feature himself because outsiders don't get our vision. A fitness coach writes her own copy because freelancers don't understand my audience. They're all brilliant. They're all broke. Why? Because great work doesn't scale without systems. Your skills got you to $100,000. They won't get you to $1 million. That requires delegation. According to Gallup, 74% of entrepreneurs fail to scale past $500,000 per year because they can't transition from maker to manager. You're not alone. But if you don't fix this trap, you'll stay stuck in a grind cycle forever. Take Ryan, a client of mine. He launched a luxury sneaker brand in Chicago. First year, he handled every order himself. I want customers to feel the human touch, he told me. By month 18, Ryan was working 100-hour weeks, missing deadlines, and burning through cash on rush shipping. When I asked him, "What's your biggest cost?" he said me, his salary ate 68% of his budget. We fixed it by hiring a fulfillment partner and a customer service VA. His profit margin jumped from 8% to 22% overnight. At Profit Architects, we call this the leverage gap. Your job isn't to do every task perfectly. It's to build processes that outlive your effort. That means writing SOPs before you need them, hiring a VA when you're still overwhelmed, outsourcing design work while your brand is still small. It feels risky. It feels inefficient. But that's the point. Jake learned this too late. After his Nike deal collapsed, he finally hired a production manager 6 months before bankruptcy. Lena, his competitor, she's franchising next year. Here's the takeaway. Your goal isn't to be irreplaceable. Your goal is to build something bigger than you. Profit isn't found, it's engineered. And engineering requires letting go before you're ready. So ask yourself, are you building a brand or just a solo career with higher overhead? Let me tell you about Ethan, a guy who built a prison for himself and didn't even realize it. Ethan's a 29-year-old t-shirt designer in Portland, Oregon. His brand started as a passion project, graphic tees with edgy, hand-drawn illustrations that tapped into Gen Z's ironic humor. By year 2, he was pulling in $80,000 per month on Etsy and Shopify. But here's the kicker. Ethan's profit? Minus $15,000. He was making sales and still losing money. How? Ethan did everything himself. Designed his shirts, screen printed them in his garage, packaged orders at 2 a.m., handled customer service, wrote social media captions, even coded his own Shopify app because third-party tools were too expensive. His mantra? If I don't do it, it won't be done right. By year 3, Ethan's brand hit a breaking point. A viral TikTok moment sent 10,000 new customers to his site in 48 hours. Orders flooded in, but Ethan couldn't fulfill them. He burned through his savings hiring temps, but he refused to delegate design work or inventory management. The result? Late shipments, wrong sizes sent to customers, 40% return rate, a 1-star review storm. One customer even mocked him in a viral reel. Bought a shirt from this small business guy. Turns out he's just a dude crying in a garage full of undelivered packages. Ethan's story isn't unique. It's a founder's prison, a trap where you trade the freedom of entrepreneurship for the grind of a 9 to 5 with zero job security. You think you're avoiding risk by doing everything yourself? Nope. You're creating a single point of failure. You. And when you burn out, get sick, or just want a vacation, your business collapses. At Profit Architects, we call this the founder dependency crisis. According to the U.S. Small Business Administration, 70% of businesses fail to scale past $1 million per year because founders refuse to delegate. They're stuck in the I'll do it myself loop, convinced hiring is a luxury, not a necessity. Take Lila, a client of mine. She launched a candle brand in Denver. First year, she handmade every candle, managed ads, packed boxes, and handled returns. Sales hit $200,000. Profit? $12,000. She told me, I'm saving money by not hiring. But her time was worth $8 per hour after expenses. When I asked, what's your biggest cost? She said me, we fixed this by outsourcing fulfillment to a third-party warehouse and hiring a part-time graphic designer. Her profit margin jumped from 6% to 28% in 6 months. Why? Because Lila stopped trading hours for dollars and started building systems. Here's the brutal truth. If your business can't survive a 7-day vacation, you don't own a company. You own a job. And jobs don't scale. Systems do. Ethan finally got this after his TikTok meltdown. He hired a fulfillment partner, trained a junior designer, and set up automated customer service workflows. His revenue doubled in 9 months, and he took his first vacation in 3 years. The lesson? Your job isn't to do every task. is to make sure every task gets done well, even when you're not watching. Profit isn't found, it's engineered. And engineering requires letting go before you're ready. So ask yourself, are you building a business or just a glorified side hustle with higher stress? Let me tell you about Claire, a woman who built a treadmill and called it business. Claire's a 38-year-old spa owner in Austin, Texas. She launched her chain in 2018 with 3 locations, specializing in clean beauty treatments for busy moms. By 2021, she had 50 employees, 80% Yelp reviews, and $2 million in annual revenue. But here's the problem. Her profit? Minus $300,000. Claire worked 16-hour days. She'd wake up at 5 a.m. to approve payroll, rush between locations checking towel folds, reply to customer complaints on Google reviews until midnight. Her team called her the Energizer Bunny, but behind the scenes, her business was rotting. Customer retention dropped 60% year over year. Marketing costs tripled. One location lost 40% of its regulars. But Claire didn't notice until a Yelp review thread blew up. Came here twice. Never saw my esthetician again. Are they even open? Claire's mistake? She confused motion for progress. She thought if she kept working harder, answering every DM, tweaking every ad, micromanaging every appointment, growth would follow. But grind isn't strategy. It's noise. And noise drowns out the signals that actually matter. Data, trends, customer journeys. At Profit Architects, we see this in 80% of founders. They treat their calendar like a badge of honor. I'm too busy to think. That means I'm winning. Nope. That means you're flying blind. According to Gallup, 74% of entrepreneurs fail to scale past $1 million per year because they never analyze their own business data. They're too busy doing to ask, why aren't we growing? Take Ryan, a client of mine. He ran a supplement brand targeting CrossFit athletes. First 2 years, he crushed it, $1.5 million in sales. But his return rate hit 35%. Customers complained about bloating, inconsistent dosages. Ryan blamed bad batches and kept grinding, hiring more reps, running flash sales, filming TikTok demos. By year 3, his CAC doubled. His LTV dropped below $50. When I asked him, when's the last time you mapped your customer journey? He said, what's a customer journey? Here's the brutal truth. If you don't measure what matters, you'll die by what you ignore. Profit isn't found, it's engineered. And engineering requires stepping back before your business collapses under its own weight. Claire learned this the hard way. After her Yelp meltdown, she finally sat down with her numbers. Turns out, her top 20% clients drove 80% of profits, but she'd cut her loyalty program to save costs. Her email list hadn't been cleaned in 18 months. Her SMS campaigns had a 2% open rate. She'd been chasing new customers while losing her best ones. We fixed this by forcing her to do something radical. Stop working and start thinking. We scheduled 2 hours every Monday, her strategy hour. No emails, no calls, just data. She mapped her customer journey from first click to repeat purchase, tracked LTV versus CAC, audited her email sequences. Within 6 months, her retention jumped 25%. Her profit margin went from minus 15% to plus 8%. Here's the lesson. You can't fix what you don't measure. Block time on your calendar every week to ask, what's our LTV, CAC ratio? Where's our biggest leak in the sales funnel? Which 20% of clients drive 80% of profits? What's our customer's real pain point? Use a spreadsheet, a whiteboard, a napkin. Doesn't matter. What matters is forcing yourself to think instead of reacting. Claire's story isn't unique. It's a default for founders addicted to the grind. But here's the good news. Strategy isn't magic. It's just asking the right questions before your business answers them for you with Collapse. So ask yourself, are you running your business or is your business running you? Let me tell you about Trina, a woman who mistook fireworks for success. Trina is a 27-year-old fashion influencer in Los Angeles, known for her effortless glam aesthetic. Her TikTok clips showcasing $300 blazers paired with $10 fast fashion jeans, blew up overnight. By 2023, she had 2.5 million followers and a Shopify store raking in $300,000 per month. But here's the twist. Her profit? Minus $120,000. How does a brand with viral traction go broke? Easy. They celebrate revenue like it's a trophy while bleeding money on every sale. Trina's Black Friday campaign was her downfall. She slashed prices to 90% off, ran nonstop TikTok ads, and hit 11,000 orders in 3 days. Headlines called her the flash sale queen. Her team, which was just her and a temp VA, worked 20-hour shifts packing boxes. But when the dust settled, the math told a different story. COGS, $180,000. Low margins because she rushed production. Logistics, $70,000, expedited shipping plus returns. Ad spend, $120,000. CAC tripled as competition spiked. Returns, 35%. Customers kept damaged items, blamed her for low quality. Team costs, $20,000 VA overtime, her own unpaid labor. Total loss, $800,000. When I asked her, "Why didn't you see this coming?" she said, "I saw the orders piling up and thought, we're winning. I didn't check the numbers until it was too late." Here's the brutal truth. Revenue is a vanity metric. Profit is survival. At Profit Architects, we see founders crash into this wall every year. They chase sales like they're lottery tickets, ignoring the cost per play. According to Shopify, 68% of e-commerce brands go bankrupt within 18 months because they can't scale profitably. Why? Because they're measuring applause instead of arithmetic. Take Marcus, a client of mine. He sold premium pet supplements targeting health-conscious dog moms. His first campaign pulled in $250,000 in 30 days. He celebrated with a champagne toast until his accountant told him his LTV, CAC ratio, was 0.7 to 1. For every dollar he spent on ads, he earned 70 cents back. His return rate hit 40% because he prioritized viral hooks over vet-approved formulas. By month 6, he was out $500,000. This isn't just a mistake. It's financial suicide, because when you ignore profit, you're not just losing money, you're losing time, trust, and future opportunities. Trina learned this the hard way. After her flash sale disaster, her Instagram DMs flooded with hate. "You're scamming us." Her supplier cut ties. Her VA quit. She had to refund 3,000 orders. Today, her brand's Instagram is a ghost town. So what's the fix? Engineer your metrics before they engineer your collapse. At Profit Architects, we enforce 3 non-negotiables. Net profit, revenue. If you can't calculate your profit per transaction, you're not running a business, you're running a hobby. LTV, CAC ratio greater than or equal to 3 to 1. For every $1 you spend on ads, you must earn $3 in lifetime value. Anything less, charity. Return rate less than or equal to 10%. High returns equals bad product market fit. Fix it before scaling. Marcus fixed his business by pausing ads, auditing his formulas with vets, and raising prices to match value. His LTV, CAC, jumped to 4:1. Trina? She's rebuilding from scratch, this time with a spreadsheet that tracks every dollar. Here's the takeaway. You don't get paid for sales. You get paid for profit. Profit isn't found, it's engineered. And engineering requires math, not magic. So ask yourself, are you running a business or just throwing money at the wall to see what sticks? Let me tell you about Eli, a man who let millions slip through his fingers because he was too scared to spend. Eli's a 34-year-old founder in San Diego, California, running a cold-pressed juice brand called Pure Drop. His product was clean, his packaging sleek, his recipe unique. A turmeric-laced detox shot that went viral on TikTok after a wellness influencer raved about it. Overnight, sales jumped 500%. But instead of seizing the moment, Eli panicked. He had $150,000 in profit burning a hole in his bank account. What did he do? Nothing. No hires. No automation. No retargeting ads. Just him, his juicer, and a spreadsheet. By week 3, orders backed up. Customers complained about delayed shipments. The influencer's follow-up video: "I'm sorry, Pure Drop's great, but I can't wait 10 days for my order." By month 2, Eli's traffic vanished. Competitors like Greenswell, a rival juice brand that spent $80,000 on automation and fulfillment during its own viral spike, stole his audience. Today, Pure Drop's Instagram is a ghost town. Eli's still bottling juice by hand. Here's the brutal truth: growth dies when you confuse frugality with fear. At Profit Architects, we see founders sabotage their own momentum every year. They treat profit like a safety blanket, hoarding cash instead of weaponizing it. According to the U.S. Small Business Administration, 82% of failed businesses had positive cash flow before collapse. Why? Because they refused to invest in scaling when it mattered most. Take Maya, a client of mine. She ran a CBD gummy brand targeting Gen Z. When her sleepy gummies went viral on TikTok, sales hit $400,000 per month. But instead of reinvesting, Maya froze. What if the trend dies? What if I waste money? She kept her 2-person team, manual order system, and 0 ad budget. Within 6 weeks, her return rate hit 35%. Customers complained about inconsistent dosages. Her competitor, ZZZ Bites, used 25% of its profits to hire a QA manager, automate fulfillment, and launch retargeting campaigns. Maya's sales cratered. ZZZ Bites hit $2 million in year 2. This isn't just a mistake, it's a self-inflicted ceiling. Because if you don't spend to grow, someone else will. And they'll take your customers, your market share, and your future revenue. Eli learned this the hard way. After his viral collapse, he finally hired a fulfillment partner 6 months after his supplier cut ties. His competitor, Greenswell, they're franchising next year. So what's the fix? Engineer growth before momentum fades. At Profit Architects, we enforce 3 rules. Reinvest 20 to 30% of profits during growth spikes. 10% to automation, tools, software, SOPs. 10% to talent, VA, specialists, team expansion. 10% to marketing, retargeting, brand awareness, customer acquisition. Spend proactively, not reactively. Don't wait for burnout. Don't wait for chaos. If your CAC drops below $20 and LTV hits $100 plus, pour fuel on the fire now. Treat profit like fertilizer, not gold. Money left idle rots. Money invested grows. Maya fixed her business by pausing sales for 2 weeks to rebuild systems. She hired a fulfillment manager, automated QA checks, and launched a retargeting campaign. Her retention jumped 40%. Eli, he's rebuilding from scratch, this time with a budget for scaling. Here's the takeaway. Growth requires courage, not just cash. Profit isn't found, it's engineered. And engineering means spending money to make more before doubt kills your moment. So ask yourself, are you building a business or just guarding a paycheck? You made it. You just walked through 7 psychological traps that silently kill businesses. Traps that don't strike all at once, but stack, one flawed assumption at a time. These aren't just mistakes. They're predictable patterns baked into the entrepreneurial journey. And here's the good news. If they're predictable, they're preventable. Let's recap the progression. You start with perfectionism, waiting for the right time to launch. Then you trade freedom for grind, believing more hours equals more money. You cling to control, refusing to delegate, until you're drowning in tasks that should have been outsourced. You obsess over revenue while bleeding profit, then bury yourself in daily fires until you're too exhausted to think strategically. Finally, when growth knocks, you freeze, too scared to invest, and wonder why momentum vanishes. This isn't fate. It's a blueprint for failure. But here's the flip side. Fixing these traps in order builds a resilient foundation. Start small. Document that repetitive task in a messy Excel sheet. Hire a VA to handle inbox chaos. Block 2 hours every week to ask, what's actually working? These aren't hacks. They're engineering principles for profit. At Profit Architects, we don't chase trends. We build systems that outlive hustle. Because here's our mantra: profit isn't found, it's engineered. And engineering requires discipline, not desperation. So, here's your challenge. Write the process first, even if it's imperfect. Start with one task you do weekly. Turn it into a checklist. Hire help, a freelancer, VA, or contractor. Delegate the thing that drains you most. Schedule your strategy hour. No emails, no calls. Just data, reflection, and ruthless prioritization. You're not here to work harder. You're here to work smarter, then less. Because wealth isn't built by grinding forever. It's built by creating systems that run without you. If you're still stuck in the hustle harder loop, ask yourself, are you building a business or just a job with higher stress? Hit subscribe. Tap that bell icon. Because we're done with burnout. We're done with guesswork. At Profit Architects, we build profit deliberately, systematically, relentlessly. Your future self isn't thanking you for surviving the grind. They're thanking you for engineering a way out. Let's build.